Have you ever wondered what it would be like to drive a Mustang that looks more like a walking bomb than a true track icon? Get ready, because today we're going to reveal the 20 worst engines that ever powered this legendary car, with promises of power that never materialized and mechanical problems that would leave any lover of speed in despair. Each of these machines carries a story of disappointment. You won't want to miss this journey through the darker side of Mustang history. We start our list at number 20. Mustang's 2.5-liter turbo. Introduced in the 1980s, the Mustang's 2.3L turbo engine received heavy criticism. Fans expected performance, but found only frustration. Lack of power and reliability made it quickly forgotten by most enthusiasts. This four-cylinder engine, with just 2.3L, offered a modest 145 horsepower. Imagine driving a Mustang that didn't live up to its name. This disappointing power left drivers wanting much more from a classic like this. It was common to hear complaints about overheating and premature wear. This engine seemed to have a tragic fate, leaving many owners stranded on the side of the road, waiting for help. A real walking bomb on the roads. Although it was one of the first to use turbo technology in a Mustang, that didn't save it. Performance fell short of expectations, confirming that not every innovation brings results. The history of this engine is a warning for speed lovers. And number 19, Mustang 2.8 LV6. The 2.8 LV6 Mustang made its debut in the 1970s and shocked many enthusiasts by performing well below expectations. Car lovers simply weren't ready for this disappointment. With just 105 horsepower, this 2.8 LV6 engine felt more like an aspiring passenger car than a legitimate Mustang. The iconic brand was starting to lose its luster with this questionable choice. This engine was famous for its annoying vibrations and lack of power. Owners often complained that the car looked more like a walking bomb than the beast they expected. Dissatisfaction reigned. This engine was chosen in an attempt to offer a more economical option after the oil crisis, but the result was disastrous, leaving Mustang fans discouraged and asking, what happened to the power? And number 18, Mustang 4.1-liter i6. The 4.1 Li6 engine, launched in the 70s, promised emotions but delivered disappointments. With an outdated design, it failed to meet the expectations of speed lovers, who were looking for something more than just adequate. Equipped with a simple 4.1 Li6, this engine produced just 155 horsepower. Although it has its history, it's hard not to wonder, how did something so weak manage to be part of a legend like the Mustang? Owners faced constant headaches with cylinder failures and fuel consumption that seemed to have a life of its own. Did you know that many called you a walking bomb? The frustration was real. Although recognized for its durability, performance left something to be desired. For many, the 4.1 Li6 was just an adequate option, far from what a true Mustang lover expected. When they turned the ignition key. At number 17, Mustang 5.0 LV8 Fox Body. The Fox Body era Mustang 5.0 LV8 is a true icon of the 80s. However, in some versions, this engine has become a mechanical nightmare, leaving many drivers frustrated and with expensive repairs in their pockets. With an impressive 5.0 LV8, it delivered up to 235 horsepower, a monster on the tracks. But its reputation as a powerful engine also came with a great deal of anxiety for mechanics and owners due to its peculiarities. While some still run strong, many 5.0L Mustangs have suffered from worn spindles and maintenance issues. Some called them classics, others as a walking bomb that left drivers in the lurch when they needed it most. This engine was a legend in competitions, but mechanical failures cannot be ignored. The Mustang 5.0 LV8 is remembered more for its failures than its victories, which makes it one of the worst engines in history. And number 16. Mustang 3.8-liter Vietnam SN95. The Mustang 3.8 LV6 SN95 is a classic from the 90s that had a long life, but its durability left a lot to be desired. He was like a beautiful car that never managed to reach its full potential, disappointing many who dreamed of speeding. With 190 horsepower, this 3.8 LV6 engine had an attractive appearance, but its actual performance was a blow to speed lovers. It was what many would call average strength, enough to go for a walk, but nothing to impress. Famous for its propensity for oil leaks and transmission problems. Many wondered if they were buying a car or a pit for repairs. It was like shooting yourself in the foot when you were waiting for a supercar in the garage. Despite its inefficiency, the 3.8L V6 attracted many enthusiasts willing to modify and revive this engine. It was like watching a gladiator fight in Nord armor, but even so, some still believed they could do wonders. At number 15, Mustang 4.6 litros 5.8 modular. The Mustang 4.6L V8 made its entry in the 1990s, but many muscle car fans were disappointed by the expected lack of power. It was a real paradox for a car that was supposed to roar on the roads. With power variants ranging from 305 to an impressive 550 horsepower, the 4.6L V8 looked promising, but the reality often did not match the advertised potential. Do you really feel the power or just the frustration? Overheating failures and head gasket problems were common. This engine had a reputation for being a real say it's not mine engine, provoking nervous laughter among mechanics and shocks among drivers. Despite its flaws, many chose to modify the 4.6L, seeking improvements. However, these attempts often did not improve its reliability, turning it into an engine that, even modified, had its dubious charm. And number 14, Mustang 3.7L V6. The Mustang 3.7L V6 arrived with promises of power and performance, but it fell short on the tracks and on the roads. Fans expected something exciting, but the reality was a disappointing experience that left many to be desired. With a 3.7L V6 and 305 horsepower, the engine looked promising. However, the weak power delivery when starting off surprised everyone, making it less exciting than true enthusiasts expected. A true contrast to the Mustang legacy. Owners constantly reported technical problems, such as injection system failures and overheating. These headaches made many question their choices and lament the engine's unreliability. Despite an evolution in relation to the V6 south of previous generations, the 3.7L did not win the passion of fans. Many still look at it as a disappointing upgrade that failed to capture the spirit of the true Mustang. At number 13, Mustang 5.4 liter V8 DOHG. Debuting in 2000, the Mustang 5.4L V8 brought mechanical complexity that made many mechanics stand on end. Imagine an engine that looked more like a maze of gears than the beating heart of a muscle car. With 5.4 liters of pure adrenaline and up to 500 horsepower, this V8 promised an exciting experience. However, the reality often left drivers disappointed. Was all this power really worth it? Overheating problems and early component wear have become a routine for owners. It was common to hear, "What's the point of power if you can't drive more than 100 miles without problems?" This engine was one of the few from Ford to use double valve timing. However, complexity has turned into a major weakness, leaving many wondering, was it bold or just a bad idea? And number 12, Mustang 4.0 LV6. Ford tried to increase the Mustang's performance with its 4.0 liters V6, but the truth is that this strategy did not yield what many expected. What should have been an evolution became a disappointing chapter in the history of the legendary car. With 210 horsepower, the 4.0 LV6 looked promising, but on the track, its limitations were evident. For a Mustang, performance should be breathtaking, but this engine left a lot to be desired for power lovers. The problems began with excessive fuel consumption and accelerated where in some versions, many owners felt it in their pockets, and the reliability left something to be desired. The scare was real when filling the tank. Although the engine was well designed, it didn't compare to the Mustang lineup's iconic V8. It was like bringing a knife to a sword fight. In the end, it became a disappointment for enthusiasts who expected more power and excitement. At number 11, Mustang 5.0 LV8 Coyote. Launched in 2011, the Mustang 5.0 LV8 Coyote brought new hope to many car lovers, but what seemed like a revolution soon turned into an unexpected nightmare for the owners. This powerful 5.0 LV8 promised up to 450 horsepower of pure adrenaline, making drivers dream of dominating the roads. But has power become a burden? Unfortunately, injection problems and electrical failures quickly spread among the first models, leading many to wonder whether it was worth betting on this promising engine. Despite its flaws, the Coyote became the basis of several aftermarket projects. The question remains, Did these upgrades manage to transform a walking bomb into something admirable? And number 10, Mustang 7.3 liter V8. The Mustang 7.3L V8 arrived with the promise of power, but quickly became a disappointment for many. It was an engine that seemed promising, but its reputation soon became that of a real fiasco on the track and on the road. With 7.3 liters and a maximum power of up to 430 horsepower, it promised pure adrenaline. But this brute force hid serious problems that left many aficionados disappointed and questioning its heritage. Reports of early wear and complete failures kept coming. Many owners felt their muscular dream turned into a nightmare, with engines dying sooner than expected and without warning. Although this engine was expected to make history, it became one of the most controversial in the Mustang lineup, a tarnished legacy that left fans wondering, how could something so promising fail like this? At number 9, Mustang 3.9 LV8. The Mustang 3.9 LV8 had its moment in the spotlight, but the reality is that it left many drivers disappointed. While some media celebrated his presence, others knew that he was not the true muscular heart they expected. Equipped with a 3.9 LV8, this engine promised 280 horsepower, but the power delivery was just a facade. It looked perfect on the technical sheet, but on the track many felt it lacked that roar that defines a real Mustang. The reputation of this engine is not the best. With a worrying tendency to wear and tear and mechanical failure, it quickly became a nightmare for many owners. There were constant complaints and problems that arose faster than they could be resolved. Although it was included in several builds, the Mustang 3.9 LV8 never won the hearts of purists. For many, he was closer to an incorporation than a true asphalt legend, and was often forgotten in conversations. At number 8, Mustang 4.0 LSOHC V6. The Mustang 4.0 LSOHC V6 was Ford's ambitious attempt to deliver power and efficiency. Unfortunately, this courage was overshadowed by flaws that quickly made this engine a nightmare for many enthusiasts. With a 4.0 LV6 engine, this Mustang delivered just 240 horsepower. For many, this was a disappointment. Fans expected something bolder and more fiery, especially when we think about the tradition of the powerful Mustangs we know. Chronic engine failure problems emerged prematurely, leaving owners frustrated and feeling betrayed. For those who expected power, this was a blow to the water. How did this happen so soon? Unable to rival the Mustang's invigorating V8 engine, the 4.0 LV6 quickly faded into oblivion. It became a terrible example of what a Mustang shouldn't be. Would you also be disappointed with this choice? At number 7, Mustang 5.0 LV8, old school. Although many fans worship Mustangs with a 5.0 LV8 engine, overheating and fragility problems have made them a true nightmare for mechanics, and an exercise in patience for their owners. With a power of 245 horsepower, the famous 5.0 LV8 delivered adrenaline, but also unfulfilled promises, leaving drivers always looking for water for the radiator. This engine wasn't exactly famous for its durability. Frequent breakdowns and premature wear were more common than expected, turning each trip into Russian roulette. Although idolized for its powerful and sonorous aesthetics, the 5.0 LV8 was loaded with stories that would make any engine lover reconsider before purchasing one. And number 6, Mustang 4.9 Li6. The Mustang 4.9 Li6 was an engine that looked promising, but was actually excessively large for what it offered. This resulted in complications few expected, making it more of a nightmare than an engineering marvel. With 4.9 liters and just 135 horsepower, this engine left a lot to be desired. He had the strength of an athlete but the breath of a smoker. These were not exactly numbers that would excite fans of speed and power. Unfortunately, the 4.9 Li6's durability left something to be desired. Recurring problems arose, leading to many repairs and headaches for owners who dreamed of the open road behind the wheel of a Mustang. Culturally, the 4.9 Li6 stood in the shadows of the iconic V8, while the V8 shined. This i6 engine was forgotten, like a talented artist who never got his chance to shine in the spotlight. At number 5, Mustang 7.0 LV8. The Mustang 7.0 LV8 is a classic example of how excitement can turn into frustration. Promising great things, it ended up becoming a disappointment for many speed lovers. With its impressive 7.0 LV8 configuration, this engine delivers 370 horsepower. On paper, it should make any enthusiast's dream, but let's understand what really happens on the track. Unfortunately, many owners report oil leaks and a constant need for maintenance. This combination resulted in trips to the mechanic that ruined the fun on the road. In the world of automotive forums, the 7.0L V8 is a hot topic, but not quite what you'd expect. He is often remembered for his failures and problems rather than his performance promises. And number 4. Mustang 6.4 liter V8. The Mustang 6.4L V8 attempted to rival the performance titans, but disappointed ardent fans with its imprecise power delivery. This ambition ended in frustration for many, who expected a roar but heard a groan. With a 6.4L V8 engine, the Mustang promised up to 400 horsepower, but many found these horses to be more like poorly trained donkeys. The idea of robust power was there, but the execution, a moving nightmare. The 6.4L V8's reputation was not for performance, but for mechanical failures. Homeowners often found themselves in repair shops shortly after purchasing, devastated and frustrated. A true mechanical puzzle that left many scratching their heads. Despite the humiliation, the 6.4L V8 has become a legend among Mustang enthusiasts. Many have formed a cult around its flaws, discussing how this engine has become a symbol of both love and pain in Mustang history. Now, we come to our top 3 on our list. Mustang 2.0L Mr. Mustang 2.0L EcoBoost promised efficiency above all else. However, many drivers missed the roar and adrenaline that only a real Mustang can provide. With 4 cylinders and 2.0L, this engine delivers 310 horsepower, but for purists, this is a blow to the heart. Where is the nostalgia for big V8 South? In the first versions, injection and overheating problems began to appear. A real disappointment for those who expected a robust engine. For many fanatics, this change was seen as a betrayal of the iconic V8, leaving a bitter walking bomb taste in the minds of owners. And number 2. Mustang 2.4 liter i4. The Mustang 2.4 Li4 left many fans disappointed. Designed to be a performance machine, it ended up becoming a frustration on wheels, with much more charm than power. The lovers expected adrenaline, but only received disappointment. With just 110 horsepower, the 2.4 Li4 engine stood out as a true walking bomb. Drivers felt that the excitement was far away, as if they were driving an ordinary car, without the excitement seesawing on the streets. Power fluctuations were common, making the Mustang feel like an entirely different car with each acceleration. One moment you were hopeful, the next you felt like you were dragging your feet on the track underperforming. Considered more of an economy engine than a powerful masterpiece, the 2.4 Li4 became a sad reminder that not all Mustangs were made to dominate the roads, a real disappointment for speed lovers. And now, first on our list, Mustang 5.4L V8 Supercharged. The supercharged Mustang 5.4L V8 started out as a promise of exuberant power. However, this ambition quickly turned into a series of problems that left many enthusiasts disappointed. A real engineering trap. With an impressive 700 horsepower, this engine felt like the perfect blend of power and performance. On paper, it was a dream, but in reality, it became a nightmare for many drivers, who were barely able to take advantage of its power. Excess power was a double-edged sword. Its recurring mechanical problems, which swept the roads, turned the driving experience into a veritable Russian roulette. The engine was always about to fail, despite its credentials. The 5.4L V8 has been labeled a bomb by enthusiasts. Even with all its potential, few managed to take advantage of the adrenaline it promised, making history for the wrong reasons. And so we come to the end of our list of the 20 worst Mustang engines. Each of them left their mark on the brand's history, but not always in the way their creators expected. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these engines is your favorite? Or maybe you know some other engine that should be on this list. Leave your opinion in the comments, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible content like this. And of course, don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss any news.